All right. Hi, Rhonda.
Hi, Sarah.
Thank you so much for joining me. I want to start out with just, I like to have you introduce you instead of me introducing you because I want to hear it in your own words, like who you are and what you do and who you work with.
Well, my name is Rhonda Farr, and I usually work with men, actually. I work with men who would describe themselves as high achieving. They are often focused on their careers, and they, at some point in their lives, usually think, wow, I've created everything I thought I wanted. And why do I still feel unhappy, unfulfilled? Why is it still not the feeling I thought it was going to give me? And so, what I help those men do is create emotional connection in their most important relationships. And I help them, first of all, create emotional connection with themselves, which I think is what brought me here. It really is a big part of my practice to do somatic work, emotional processing, emotional awareness tools. I bring sort of an eclectic. As far as the somatic and emotional processing world is, I bring sort of an eclectic background because I use lots of different modalities and types, and I just trust your body that it will teach us what we need and show us.
Fun. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I know you kind of already said, but was there anything specific about me reaching out, going through a grieving process from the death of my partner? Was there something about that that made you go, I want to help?
Well, obviously, my clients aren't usually grieving the physical body passing of their partner, but what my clients are often grieving is the emotional distance from their partner. So I'm not going to say I'm completely familiar with coaching every day and processing emotions from a physical passing, but the emotional part, absolutely. I do that quite often. And, I don't want to compare any feelings at all, but some of my clients will say, seeing your partner right there beside you, but not feeling that connection with them can be excruciating. And there's no comparison with a physical death and an emotional separation, but it's just they can be deep. And I'm sure you're experiencing both and more. So I want to honor that you have real feelings that I'm trying to come in with a lot of soberness and want to make sure we handle it with a lot of safety, emotional safety for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And I'm glad you brought that up because yeah, I think it's always important to remind anybody that's listening that yes, I mean I am here. I want to be here. I do feel safe with the people that have reached out to me and offered to collaborate with me on this. So I trust that. It feels in alignment. It feels right. I feel safe. I feel seen. I feel supported and all of that and just so incredibly grateful and yeah and I'm in a lot of pain and I think while people, yes, all of their circumstances will be different. My pain is currently coming from the death of my partner. Other people's pain comes from different things, but it's still pain. It's still emotional pain that I want to learn how to better handle and mm, surrender to is the word that's coming to mind. And then for people to, again, to witness that and decide for themselves if it's something that resonates for them. And that's what I love about all the different coaches that have reached out and offered to walk this with me, because that gives everybody even more opportunity to see like the different uniqueness of the different beautiful humans and their gifts that they bring to it, for somebody to be able to go, her, that's my person, that's who I want to work with. I think they could guide me like that brings me a lot of, that's why I'm doing this publicly.
Oh,
you know
I love that. What a gift of yourself in ways that I don't think people who are listening or watching could understand until they've felt what it's like to surrender to
mm,
such real. I almost said deep. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know if that's how you describe it, but such real feelings, and to just open to those parts of yourself that people don't get to see in the day to day. Usually, unless you're coaches like us, right? Who put it on YouTube.
and that's so, I'm glad you mentioned that because it's so true. Everybody that knows me personally, they're all like, oh, you're so strong. You're handling this so well. You're like a superhuman. And inside, I'm like dying. Like inside, that is not my experience. And so it is an interesting thing to navigate. And it's fascinating to me to kind of observe, how people see me,
Yeah.
handling this. But that's another reason why I wanted to sort of reach out. Not that I want to, all of a sudden start, expressing all my emotion in front of everybody, but it sort of pinpointed to me, like it was just another sign that I don't think I'm really leaning into the feeling. I'm holding it together, if that makes sense. I'm using my brain and talking myself into just hold it together.
Well, thank you for trusting me to be here with you. And I'll just say for the listeners, your body will guide us. If your body is only ready to feel and experience a very small surface level amount, that's going to be beautiful and perfect, because there are, there are increments to this. And if somebody's listening to this and they're like, no, I'm going to go all the way into the deepest levels of all of this, I would kindly caution, trust your body. Sometimes we think deeper or harder or more tears or more whatever is better. I think that your body just knows what it's ready for and what it has the capacity to hold, and trusting that part of you that knows, maybe more than the conscious mind, as you alluded to, like I'm using that part, I'm using my brain, I'm holding together. Let's just trust what the body feels. And that's what we'll do today. As your listeners and viewers will see, you will be completely in charge of this at all times, and I will just guide you through. Okay. If at any time I give you a prompt or I ask you to do something that doesn't feel safe, you have the authority at any time to say, I am done. This one is short, which could be kind of cool for your viewers to see that self-authority and self-autonomy if that happens. Or at any time you could open your eyes or you can move your body. Your body is in charge, and I am a witness, and I just get to be a guide.
Yeah.
But I follow you and your body.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. If it does feel okay, I'll give you two options. If you want to just let your eyes go to like a soft gaze, and so it gets kind of blurry, or if you feel comfortable, just go ahead and close your eyes. Since maybe you've done a couple of these sessions, you could go ahead and do that. And if neither of those are appropriate, you can say, eyes open, I'm here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm comfortable closing them. Yeah.
Okay, so if you'll just go ahead and start breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth at whatever cadence and whatever depth feels best for you, we'll go ahead and attune to the body. Okay, and what I'll do first is guide you to become more interoceptive or internally focused. And again, that's just so your body can lead us today. Just start noticing as you breathe any sensations in the body. And if it feels good, go ahead and start to notice the rise and fall of your chest or your belly. And again, just take the breath at your own cadence. And if it's okay, I want you to start with some awareness of your left shoulder. Just become aware of where that left shoulder is in proximity in the room you're in proximity to the right shoulder. And now if you're ready, let's just move that awareness over to the right shoulder. And again, just like with the left, notice the proximity of that shoulder in relation maybe to your foot or in relation to the wall nearest you. And now what we're going to do is become aware of everything between your left and right shoulder. So you may think of lungs, nerves, collarbone. Just think about what's between your shoulders. And now if you can create some awareness of what's between your left shoulder and the left wall that's nearest you. And then if you can, hold that awareness with what's between your right shoulder and the right wall. So now we're just going to spread that attention a little bit more. And if it feels possible, let's go ahead and spread that awareness even beyond the walls of the room you're in. So it may extend beyond even your home, like out into your community, maybe even extend that awareness even beyond your state. And if at any time you can't hold that awareness, it's okay, just notice. And now if you'll bring your present attention right to the front of your breastbone, right to the front. And then bring your awareness to your spine in the back. So now we're just going to become once again aware of what's between your body, that front breastbone and your spine, front to back. So again, maybe your heart is there, blood vessels, nerves, cartilage. And now we're going to come back to the front of your body and just become aware of what's between your body and the screen in front of you. And notice that space. And then see if you can create that awareness from your back to the wall behind you. Notice how far you think it is, what might be between you and the wall. And just like we did before, let's see if we can extend that awareness now beyond the walls of your room. Even beyond that front wall, beyond that back wall, beyond the home you're in. And every deep breath in you take, see if you can extend that awareness further, maybe beyond your community, beyond your state. Just notice how you sit right here present with all of that awareness. Let's go ahead and bring that awareness to your left and to your right, front of you, behind you, and just create that awareness that you're right here center. And if it's okay, go ahead and become aware of your breath again into the belly and pull that breath up to the chest and out. And one more time, we're going to just become aware of your body, but this time it's on the top of your head. See if you can create awareness right up on the crown of your head. And then we're going to draw that awareness all the way down to your tailbone or maybe your sit bones, right where your body is being supported by your chair. And just like before, what's between those 2 points? Your spine, your brain, your heart, your gut. Right here we are in the center of our awareness. And now what we're going to do is, again, bring that awareness to the top of your head, to your crown, and all the way up to your ceiling. What's in that space? How far away from the crown of your head is your ceiling? Now let's bring that awareness all the way back down to your tailbone or your sit bones. What's beneath your seat and between your floor, your seat? Maybe it's part of your chair, maybe your flooring. And when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and see if we can create that awareness up through the ceiling, out through the roof, out into space. And down through the floor, down into the earth, down into the core of the earth. Just create that awareness. Almost as if you are in the middle of a sphere of awareness. Let that awareness go to the sides, the front and back, above and beneath. You are held and present in this space. And if it feels appropriate, with every deep breath in, I want you to see if you can lengthen your spine, almost as if you're pulling a little bit of space between each vertebrae. Breathing into that length, really lengthening, like something's pulling up from the crown of your head. And then as you breathe, go ahead and see if you can pull those shoulders wide and apart. And we're breathing into that length from side to side. And I want you to imagine as you breathe, you're breathing into the dignity, into a sense of belonging in this space, belonging in your body, belonging in your life, in your relationships, including the relationship with your partner, that you still have a sense of belonging and dignity. When we bring up a belonging and we bring up having a relationship with your partner, does that bring any sensation, any thoughts, anything that feels important to share with me?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time connecting with it because the thought that I have about that is that I don't know who to be
Mm,
without him. Like it's like an identity thing. I can
okay.
no longer identify as, his partner, his love, his person. It's like, so how do I fill that gap?
Okay, that's perfect. So all we're going to do is take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to see if you can describe to me the sensations in the body when you think, I don't know what to be or who to be,
Mhm.
when I no longer identify through the relationship of love or connection with him. Do you have any feelings in the body?
Yeah, I feel immediately I started feeling like pain in my sort of in my back, right by my spine, and it feels like a clamping around my heart.
Mm,
It's very tight.
okay, beautiful. So you don't have to say anything out loud to me at this point, but I want you to see if it feels okay to just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you're going to acknowledge to your body, I feel you. I feel the pain in my back and by my spine. I feel the clamping around my heart. And we're just going to invite this feeling to be with us. Maybe even let it know you're welcome to be here. You have my attention. I'm willing to feel. I'm willing to understand. You don't have to go away. We're not doing this to get it to go away. We're just here to learn. And just let me know if it feels any different or if it feels more intense or the same.
A little bit more like it's sort of like traveled a little bit, and now like the tightness is kind of going up into my throat.
Okay, thank you for sharing. So let's just do that same process. Oh, I feel you now. You're moving into my throat. I feel the tightness coming up. And again, if it feels safe and like it's okay, just invite it. You're welcome to be here. I can tolerate tightness in my throat. You have my permission to move or change. I'm here to learn. And again, just do a check-in with me and let me know how it feels as we continue to invite.
Gets like a little bit stronger, but not unbearable.
Is there emotion that's trying to come out that's not in your throat? Or is there a sadness or is there something else? It's almost like I heard something in your voice. So I just want to check in with that.
There probably is some sort of like something that is stuck there. And I recognize like intellectually, I recognize like I could like maybe vocalize that, but like I stop myself from doing that. And not just because I'm here with you. I do this when I'm on my own as well. Even if
Yeah.
it's me alone in a room and I feel like I want to just scream or cry or yell, I don't. I just sit there and I just hold the tightness.
Okay. So continue to take some deep breaths. If you could describe the tightness to me, just the tightness, will you give me as many descriptors as possible so I can sort of understand it too?
It's like something is squeezing my airway,
Mm-hmm.
making it harder to take deep breaths. It feels also like a lump that I want to like swallow down. Um, the tightness like in the chest, same. It feels like a clamp that it's like I'm almost envisioning, I don't know why, like it's almost like a vice that is being tightened and it's hard and it's metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's metal, it's silver, and it's like it's clamped on there like some sort of device is that for whatever reason the image that I'm getting.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for sharing that. And when you say the vice is clamped on there, do you mean like around your rib cage, around your throat, around your heart, or all of it? If you could get really specific about that.
The one around my heart, it feels like it's inside my rib cage.
Okay.
So maybe not as small as just my heart, so maybe my lungs a little bit too. And that's the one that feels like the vice. It's very solid, it's very like cold and cranked. But the one up around my throat feels more like hands. So it's got a little bit of give to it. And a little bit of like fluidity. And it's warmer.
So it doesn't matter which one. It really doesn't. I want you to just tune in with your body and let me know if we were to take a closer look at either, which feels like it's ready to be seen or feels more interesting to learn about.
The one around my heart, um, I'm finding like I keep going back to that.
Okay, beautiful.
Interesting to me right now, like, and especially the weird images that I got. That's interesting to me.
Okay, perfect. So if you can go ahead and just start with a deep breath into the belly and pull that breath up to the chest. All we're doing is we're connecting with breath to the area, like pulling that breath to the area where we're going to explore. And if at any time it gets too tight or if you don't feel safe, go ahead and just open your eyes or raise a hand. Let me know.
Okay.
And if you can just set an intention to learn about this vice and to learn about what's happening there, not to dissolve it, not to get past it. That's not what we're here for. If that happens, beautiful, but we're not trying to get rid of it. And then I want you to imagine if you could make a physical touch. So we're going to take a visual of you maybe putting a hand on this solid cranked vise. Can you get that in your mind? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Just start telling me what it's like to maybe just put your hand on the surfaces, like almost imagining that you're just running your hand over the coldness.
That feels okay.
Are you noticing anything about it now that you're visualizing this touch, this tactile connection with it that you didn't notice before when you were describing it?
I felt like a little bit of release, like a little bit less, tightness and resistance to it, just the touch, the connection that I made with that imagining that I just laid my hands on it.
Mm-hmm.
And because when I think about touching it, because I associate it with me,
Mm-hmm.
I love myself so much that when I put my hands on myself, it's with a lot of love and compassion and tenderness. And so it's almost like I can touch this thing with a lot of,
Mm.
if that makes sense, so that feels.
Yeah, I love that. So maybe just stay with that if that feels good, if you feel the love and tenderness. Maybe even imagine both hands on it, just holding it, maybe even cradling it like you would a vulnerable child or small animal, like just holding it with all that care.
Mm-hmm.
And only if it feels appropriate while you're imagining that care and that compassionate hold or touch, maybe just ask it, what are you called? Do you have a name? And just trust any thought, impression that comes to mind.
Yeah. It was like I got the word heartbreak,
Mm.
and it's like I'm holding it together.
Mm. So if you feel safe, just keep breathing. So it seems like your body's moving something right now. And in your mind's eye, if you can still see yourself holding compassionately this device and just say, oh, heartbreak, you're holding me together. I see. I understand. I'm learning. And maybe just keep calling it by name. You don't have to say it out loud, but to it, your heartbreak, it makes sense. Or your heartbreak, I see now. And just sit with it in that capacity for as long as it feels good. And if anything changes or moves, just let me know how you perceive it moving.
It's not really moving. But what's coming to my mind is I'm just thanking it. Thank you for holding it. Thank you for
Mm.
putting that. And I don't even want to call it like a vice anymore. It's more like just, again, something that's wrapped around holding something together so it doesn't fall apart. And I'm grateful for it.
Mm. Can we take a few intentional breaths with the gratitude? Just in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just like we did with the grounding, maybe extend your body up and out and see how much gratitude we can fill your body with in this moment. And just notice the duality of this heartbreak. And if the emotion name has changed, you can let me know that too. But notice the duality of gratitude as it envelops this feeling that's wrapped around your heart. Notice what it's like to hold both.
I'm able to take deeper breaths now.
Mm. Take a few breaths as deeply as your body will allow. Just see what that feels like. Yeah, move your body, stretch if it feels good. You can do anything that your body feels like the urge to do. Go ahead and just let it know you're listening, that you feel it.
So the hard, like metal vice grip is now feels more like expansive. It's not cold, it's not metal, it's not silver, and it doesn't have like a crank on it. It's more of like a cloth now. It's still there, it's still wrapped. It's
Mm.
trying to protect me, but it's much more fluid. It's much more it's expandable now.
That's beautiful.
Sure as my body.
if it feels appropriate, and if it doesn't, let me know. See if you can just ask it. Are you still called heartbreak, or do you want me to know a different name when you're in this form? And just see what it says.
Yeah, it's still heartbreak, and it's still holding it together. It's just a lot. It just feels different. It doesn't feel so cold and tight and restrictive. It's still heartbreak. It's still holding it together, but it's more cradling. It's more moving with it. It's more expansive.
Okay, that's beautiful. So I want you to see if you can bring a few intentional breaths into the belly and pull that breath up to the chest. And this time with the gratitude, imagining light. And maybe you were already doing that before, but let's just see if we can pull more light into the chest. And we're doing a couple of things with this breath. We're just pulling that supportive love, self-love, and light in. We're acknowledging that there's change, and we're illuminating. And maybe if it's ready, we can just say, I'm willing to turn the lights on and see more and understand as much as you're willing to offer. And if it feels appropriate, once again, just asking, is there anything else you want me to see or understand? Is there anything else that you want to communicate with me? I'm listening. You have my attention.
Just saying I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like I feel like it's love and compassion and understanding, and I'm sorry, but even when I say that out loud, it tightens again.
Mm-hmm. Just notice it. Oh, when I said sorry, you tightened. I notice it.
Mm.
Just creating awareness. Do you want to ask it about the tightness when you said the words?
It feels protective.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I'm sorry, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna squeeze you and protect you. Mm.
Does the squeeze feel like it's back to the cold, hard vice, or does it feel something different that we haven't seen yet?
A little bit more painful. It's kind of like even it didn't go back to the cold hard, but it got a little tighter. It still feels warm. It still feels like it's more like hands now, kind of like it was around my throat. It's more hands. It's more like grabbing and holding and squeezing to the point where it's like, okay, loosen up a little. That's a little bit too tight. I can feel it in my back now.
Okay, in your mind's eye, I want you to just keep breathing. If you're okay, are you okay to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what we're going to do is just acknowledge, oh, that's really tight. That's even tighter than the vice. Even though it's softer, like the hands are softer, it's even tighter. And we're just going to let the body know, I'm observing this. I'm feeling this. And only if it feels true, we're going to communicate. I can tolerate how it feels to learn. You're welcome to be here and be witnessed, but only if that feels true in your body, that's what you want to do. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. And what's coming to me, and I wonder if this is because where I spend a lot of time in my mind when I'm, alone or laying in bed. I spend a lot of time thinking about his experience when he died. It was his heart.
Mm,
And, I was with him the whole time. I saw the pain that he was in. And then once the surgeons came and explained to us what had happened and what he was actually experiencing, I think about that a lot. And I feel like that's almost like what I'm experiencing is what
mm,
he must have felt.
mm. Are you okay to let that work through you, or do we need to take a break?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, I want you to keep breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And if possible, see if you can relax your body around that discomfort. But if your body has another urge to do something different, please go ahead and voice that and let me know.
Mm.
And maybe you can even just say to this feeling, I think this is what he felt like. I think this is what he experienced. Maybe just ask that feeling, is that true? Are you a reflection of that in some way? Just let me know if anything comes with it as you sit with
I imagine what he was actually truly feeling was much worse,
it. Mhm.
because I can't cause tears in my aorta. I can't
Yeah.
create that, but the Mm. So I think logically I know, like, no, this is not what he felt. I can't recreate that in my own body to match that experience of what was happening in his body at that time. And then I just go back to heartbreak.
Mm, yeah. Does it still feel like the tight squeeze that's more like hands?
No, no, it's just kind of like a dull pain.
Yeah.
It
Can you
feels,
just go
yeah,
ahead?
it feels looser. It feels like the grip has kind of gone away. It's sort of like just a dull ache. It's interesting because once I sort of like let go, like, like it's weird. It's like it's like I notice now maybe I've been trying to recreate this experience. Like in order to feel close to him, I've been like wanting to experience what he experienced that day.
Mm,
And I kind of am like thinking like I can let go of that a little bit. Don't need to do that.
mm. When you think that thought, I can let go and I don't need to do that, is that okay for your body to think about or to experience? Or is there resistance?
There's resistance. I can feel it. I can feel it all kind of as I think about doing that and say that out loud. I feel the tightness come back.
Don't bypass the resistance, okay? We're going to actually just invite the resistance. I feel you.
Mhm.
Welcome to be here.
Mhm.
You have a part in this experience as well. That resistance is here for a reason. Maybe you can just acknowledge it and see it and ask it what it wants you to know.
Yeah, I think it's trying to hold on to that because it's me just holding on to memories. It's me trying to hold on to, the connection of our last moments together
Mhm.
and trying to make sense of it.
So it's trying to protect your relationship in some way as well. Does that feel true?
In a way it feels true, but I can't quite, I'm asking myself like, why? Like, what about the relationship is it trying to protect? I
Why
don't know.
don't we ask it? Does it feel possible to like visualize the resistance in some way, like in a form? It could be an inanimate object or anything. Let the resistance come up and be fully seen. Ask it, what do you want me to know? What's your part here?
Yeah, there's definitely like a fear. It's not, it's kind of dark. It's kind of like grabs a hold. It's definitely a fear of, letting go, change.
Mhm. Does it feel like it's trying to keep you safe?
Hmm.
If, oh, go ahead. I saw a little,
Like, hang on, let me ask that. Or is it trying to keep me safe? The fear? Hmm. The hands are trying to keep me safe. The resistance when it comes up. It doesn't feel like it's trying to keep me safe. It feels like it's just trying to hold on to something I don't want to let go of, but it's
mm,
not a safety thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for actually checking in and catching that. Beautiful. It's a perfect example of how we're just following the body. That's so perfect. And now what we want to do is just ask it what might happen if it lets go. What might happen if it allows you to let go? What's it worried about?
Yeah, I think it's more like the unknown. Like, I don't know what is going to happen if I let go and I don't resist. Like, it's it's afraid, I think, that I'm going to lose, yeah, lose something, a connection, a memory, and that if I lose it, I don't know. It's just the unknown. It's just the unknown. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know who I am if I'm no longer his and in that relationship and identify as the person that was in that relationship.
What's your body feel like right now?
It feels pretty relaxed and just like almost, it's like a surrender, but not a freeing kind of surrender. It's more of a surrender, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a, trying to think of the right word, like a, um, who cares? I can't think of the right word, but
Is it more apathy? Is it
apathetic, and it's kind of like numb.
mm. So just take some deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth again, if that's okay. And we'll just talk through it while you're breathing. Sometimes what happens when the body's moved a lot of emotion or seen a lot, like it just knows, right? And sometimes the numbness is just your body's way of saying, that's enough. we've reached our capacity. So if it feels okay, I want you to see if you can communicate with the apathy or the numbness, however it's presenting. And maybe it's like so hard to detect because of the numbness, but we're just going to let it know we respect you. I feel you. Like even the numbness. Thank you. Thank you for helping us know our limits. It's beautiful. And again, as you breathe and just even let the numbness know you're part of this experience as well. It's all important. What's coming up as we do that?
As you say that, it's so interesting, like in all of the things that have happened and how you're welcoming them and the way that you talk about them, like it's okay that you're here. It's just showing me like, yeah, I haven't been okay with it. I've been judging all of it. I've been like, okay, how do I get rid of this? You're not welcome. I don't want you here. It's so interesting.
Yeah. Okay, keep breathing. I think we're at a good place to go ahead and wrap it up, but let's do this with a little bit of intention, if that's okay.
Please, yeah.
And if any of this doesn't feel true or doesn't come naturally, you can just let me know that and do it in the way that your body feels it. But if you can just let the emotions that we've seen today be witnessed, almost like if they were in a display case or even really far away, so they don't have to be close, but we're just going to notice like the vice and the tightness and the resistance and the numbness and the gratitude and the surrender. Just, we're just going to witness it. Like you've all been here.
Mm.
You're showing up for me. And even when I'm day to day doing my coaching or my regular business, like you're still here. I see you now. I know you're with me. You're trying to keep connections, hold to memories, help me with my identity, hold my heart together. Like doing this beautiful job, even when it feels hard, even when you've judged it. Let the judgment be in the display case. That's part of it too, right? Of course, it's there. And what I want you to see if you can do as we finish up is somehow send light. If it feels good to breathe the light around you and around it, or to invite something else to give it light if you don't have that capacity, that's okay. And we're just going to see if we can.
Feels easy that I don't have to, that I can just sort of like put them on the shelf for now. I don't have to keep visiting them and being with them. It's like, okay, I saw you and now I can set you down and I can shine light on them.
Yeah. We know where you're at. We know how to open the case if at some point we want to.
Mhm.
We could pull one out at a time, or we could just get close and peer in with a magnifying glass at one, or we can come back next year or next decade. It's like, it's all okay.
Hmm.
But see if you can just create a connection with each one of them that we know where you're at. We know you might have friends behind you, and we're willing at some point if we need to come back and see them.
Hmm.
Got that light that's going to just hold you for now. And see if you can pull that light around you. And maybe you've already done that, but make sure we're pulling that light around to hold you as well. You can take your time with this, but whenever you're ready, just go ahead and open your eyes, and knowing that you've created some knowledge and awareness inside of you that we get to take.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can say nothing at all to me and quietly go process, or if you have comments for the listeners, this is your thing, so I want you to do what works best for you.
Yeah.
But I'm available to
Sometimes I do have comments and but yeah, it's like, no, I want to take a nap.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and I do want to honor that, and show people like, yeah, I can honor that. I don't have to put on my coach face. I can honor that. I don't want to do that right now.
Absolutely. I'm going to quietly slip away and let you honor that. Please drink lots of water. please like rest and also reach out to me personally for support so I can sustain anything that you need help with after.